I'm Sister Cerise, and it's so beautiful to have you here. Okay, so the Diddy case. Wow. There has been a lot of twists and turns, which you would expect to happen in a Diddy case or in any case of this caliber. But let's talk about the Jane Doe and what you thought of her and what I thought of her. Put in the comments below what you think. So far, I don't feel that Diddy is going down as seriously as I thought he was going to be going down. Like, there's so many things that came out before the trial. You know, he was with people who were underage, and then there was the allegations of the Kim Porter story, the allegations of Tupac, the allegations of Biggie, the allegations of so many people in his circle disappearing and dying. I thought for sure some of that would come out in the trial. But of course, I know, and you also know, that without any of the proper proof, the prosecution can't say a word. Only things that can be proven, they can bring up in the court of law, unless they want to be charged with or accused of being slander. You know, anyway, I really feel within my heart of hearts that it's not looking that good for Diddy, but it's also not looking that bad. So Jane Doe did prove that he was bringing over prostitutes from state lines, you know, crossing them over state lines. She proved that. And in her testimony, she also proved that she was doing it, but she got immunity, okay, which means that for her subpoena and for her admitting exactly what was going on behind closed doors, she wasn't going to be charged. Did you know at the very end of her testimony, she went and hugged the defense lawyers and the prosecutors? This girl is on some other level crazy. I do believe that she's got a little bit of delulu happening within her brain. I feel that she's very jealous. I feel that she's very insecure. I feel that she thinks having a body is better than having a brain. I mean, obviously, it's nice to have a nice body. I'm on my way to losing weight myself right now. But at the same time, you know, you gotta have some type of common sense. And I just can't help but to think that this may have something to do with Curtis. You know, Curtis, the rapper Curtis, and he has a number and cent for his name. Yeah, I feel like this is his baby mama. Just because during the whole entire trial, the prosecutor and the defense was like, Diddy doesn't like your dad's child. Diddy doesn't like your child's father. And I'm like, who doesn't Diddy like? And we know Diddy doesn't like a lot of people. But who could have this child with this other person that's so popular? And it's a son. And this Curtis Jackson, he definitely has a son. And just the timeline adds up with him dating her. And anyway, we don't want to get into all that because you know what? Her name is Jane Doe for a reason. And although we are all very curious, and although the truth will come out eventually, and I'm pretty sure it will come out sooner than later, because if it is the ex-wife or the ex-girlfriend, the baby mama of that other rapper, I'm pretty sure that other rapper is going to try real hard to get the child taken away from her eventually, if this is the lifestyle she's living. What could be done? In my gut of guts, in my heart of hearts, I feel like Diddy is going to get some time. But I also feel like the jurors still aren't convinced. I don't feel like these witnesses are giving their really great testimonies. Like, you know, he did something against them. I'll be honest with you. I didn't like Diddy before this trial. I was like, what a goof. I don't even like him. And part of me was kind of like, yeah, finally he's getting his day in court. But now I'm like, I don't know. Seemed like what he's guilty of is being an addict of intimacy. It seems like there was something done to him when he was a child or when he was first going into the music industry. There was something he became obsessed with Kim Porter, with J-Lo, allegedly with these ladies, but for sure with Cassie, because Cassie Ventura was admitting it on the stand. She was number one victim. And then, of course, now with the Jane Doe, other people as well. But the prosecution apparently is resting soon. And the defense is going to bring on their witnesses. Now, I also just heard that the mule, the guy that is with the Schmugs, the guy that was caught carrying illegal substances on the airplane for Diddy, apparently he is going to flip. And apparently he's going to say something. We don't know yet. This is what I heard. And it apparently is going to happen this week. Okay, so what else? A juror, number 6. I don't know the full story on the juror number 6. So I would love for you guys to put in the comments what is happening with jury number 6. Juror number 6 apparently has been caught lying about their address, saying that they stay with their girlfriend, but they live somewhere else. So that's still up in the air. And it seemed like the judge said, no, you cannot be here if you're lying about your address. Apparently, they asked Diddy, are you okay with this juror being here, even though his address is somewhat obscured? And Diddy said, no problem. Like, it's totally fine with me. And I think also it could be that juror and Diddy could have made a connection, because apparently when the jury was coming into the jury box in the courtroom, Diddy was nodding and smiling at these people. And of course, these are jurors, regular civilians, people who are your everyday people. And of course, they're going to look at him when they walk into the courtroom. They're not just going to walk in and look around, and they're going to walk in and look straight at Diddy, because he is the star, the famous guy, the star of the show, the man of the courtroom. Anyway, I think they would do that with any criminal. You walk in and you look at the accused. So apparently he was smiling and nodding his head and kind of creating an affinity with these jurors. And he was told not to. He was told, give it up. Stop doing it. It's not right. Stop. And apparently he will have to do that. Now, there was another occurrence that most of these things are like happening outside of the courtroom, or in the overflow room and stuff of that nature. So Kanye West showed up in the courtroom. He showed up and they asked him, what are you doing here? And he said, I'm here to support Diddy. They put him in the overflow room. They didn't put him in the courtroom for 2 reasons. One, why do they have to give him precedence over all the other people? Like, because there are vloggers waiting in line every day. There are people getting in every day. Why does he just show up and get into the main courtroom? There's an overflow room and a main courtroom. So that's what he tried to get into first, the main courtroom, so he can see his buddy, and that didn't happen. So he left shortly after. So that's one of the reasons why they didn't let him in, because it's like, dude, you can't just show up in court thinking that you're going to get, precedence over everyone or a special treatment over other people. Some people haven't even been in the courtroom yet, and they do show up every day, but they keep getting placed over in the overflow room. Now, another reason is witness intimidation, because apparently this Jane Doe, this is when he showed up. He showed up on the last day of her testimony, Kanye West. And they felt like it was witness intimidation, like she shouldn't be saying the things that she's saying against Diddy, because she was with Diddy for so long. Do you know that they got into an argument Okay, let's backtrack. Let's back up. Rewind selector. Did you know that Diddy and Jane Doe got into an argument? Let me set this up. There's a party going on and she's there. She gets jealous because he's talking to a minor, like an underage girl or something of that nature, a younger girl, younger woman or something. She calls him a pedo, you know? And then she starts arguing with him. She picks up candles and starts whipping lit candles at him. Obviously, the flame went out in the air, but the candle wax went all over Diddy. And you know how Diddy loves his clothes. You know how Diddy likes to look tight and right all the time. Well, Diddy flipped out. He chased this girl around the house. He was kicking down doors in this place, and this place is huge. So he was kicking down doors and he was trying to get at her. And finally, he did. He got her good. And then she left. She went outside running around the neighborhood for like 2 hours, you know, and then she went back to the apartment. She went back to her place. She gets into her place. And when she's in her place, you know, he busts through the door once again, and then bangs her on her head and beats her. And then he gets her again when she's in the shower. She's in the shower and she's cussing him and she's calling out names at him and everything. And he is trying to appeal to her behind the door. He's trying to talk to her and he bangs down the bathroom door and then he beats her again, apparently. Allegedly, this is what she testified to. Now, I don't believe that she's lying at all on the witness stand. I do believe she's telling the truth. She didn't even want to be on the witness stand, to be honest with you. This is what she said. She was subpoenaed to be on the witness stand. So she went against her will and she testified for the prosecution, but she did bring out the information that needed to be brought out. When it comes to the intimacy, okay, she was also in on that. She went to a party where there was a rapper and his girlfriend, which some people are thinking is Kanye West. And this is another reason why Kanye West would do the witness intimidation factor, because he knows this woman. And apparently she was at this party very close to the ones that Diddy gives, very similar. And people are all sitting around watching this guy and this girl go at it. And it was a guy that she knew, a guy that she was with Diddy before. And she's watching this guy and everyone's watching this couple go at it. And this rapper goes up to her and says, "Hey, do you know any more guys that can come and do this?" And she's like, "Yeah." She goes into her cell phone and she gives this rapper numbers of other men that will show up and do this public intimacy. So now, she also, during this whole entire party, lifted up her top and showed her tutus, and she was like, you know, all excited and happy at this party and everything. So it really, her first week on the stand when she was talking to the prosecutors, it really seemed like she was just in love with Diddy and she was being coerced. It really did seem like that. But then when the defense questioned her, it didn't seem like she was being coerced. To me, it seemed like she was on board because of the money and the lifestyle and being able to live high on the hog. Diddy was paying $10,000 a month for her rent. And all in all the years that they were together for like 2.5, 3 years or something of that nature, he gave her $150,000. Now, I don't think that's a lot of money from a billionaire. That's like $50,000 a year. But I just don't think that's a lot of money, to be honest with you. So I think it could have been a lot more, and that's probably why she was upset. But he did make it up with paying her rent and buying her clothing and buying her gifts and purses and jewelry and stuff of this nature. Apparently, he was very kind with his money. He was very giving with gifts. And so that kind of made it up. But I do believe that she had an element of control over him because she knew that she could control him with these intimacy parties. And I believe that she was part of the coercion herself, and she, to keep that control over Diddy, was coercing him to be in her life so she would please him with those intimacy gatherings, if you know what I mean. I don't think this woman's innocent. I don't think this woman is a victim. I don't look at this woman as being this, Jane Doe who was, used and up against her will. No, this woman was conniving, in my opinion. And this woman was trying to live a lifestyle that was brought through the body as opposed to the brains. She got herself now OnlyFans. And on her OnlyFans, she does stuff like, show her body. She can make anywhere from $10,000 a month. That's her average that she makes. And she has made $50,000 a month at one time. Now, they do want to bring her name out. They wanted to bring her name out. They wanted to smear her name, but the prosecution said no. I can't help but to think that she hurt her own case near the end. And I don't think the jurors are going to be like, oh yeah, she's a victim. I think the jurors are going to say more like, yeah, she got caught up. She got caught up. And yeah, Diddy did persuade her at times. And yeah, perhaps he was at times a little bit too much. And yes, they did a lot of pills, okay? A lot of ecstasy. However, was he guilty of tying her up and making her do it against her will? I don't think the jurors are going to really look at coercion as something that he did with her. Already, it shows that Cassie in her text messages were saying that she's excited. And he got Cassie. One of my viewers said something very interesting last week. One of my viewers said Cassie and the Jane Doe are completely different because he got Cassie when she was very young. And when he got her when she was very young, he groomed her. And I feel that she, by right, had to fight. But this Jane Doe was already in her 30s. This Jane Doe, it just seemed like she just was like feeling like she was desperate, feeling like she was fortunate to have a man with money, especially a music mogul, and she probably knows the music industry. And then all of a sudden, she has to do these acts, intimacy acts, in order to be able to get that money. So she was just a high cost hoe, in my opinion. And any juror, in my opinion, would probably look at her the same way. Like, I'm sorry, you were not a deer caught in headlights. You were not a little girl that was taken and forced beyond her will. These are things that you were doing on your own, and some of these things you were doing on your own without Diddy being present. So, this does not look so good for her. We are going in now to a brand new week. Let's see what happens this week. This is off the hook, but it is not as exciting as I thought the case was going to be. I thought after every day it would be jaw-dropping, like, oh my gosh, someone just dropped a bomb, or oh my gosh. Now it's getting kind of dry. Now we know exactly what the real deal is. He got males with big apparatuses, black men with big apparatuses, and he did what he did, and he paid them. They set the room up. Even hearing about the baby oil now doesn't even affect me. The lube doesn't even affect me any longer. You know what I mean? It's just like, okay, he did what he did. Let's get to the slam dunks. When is this going to happen? Maybe it's going to happen this week when the defense brings in people, but I doubt that the defense is going to bring in anybody that's going to hurt their case. So I just don't know. I don't think he's going to walk free, but I do believe that he will be charged with something, and he may get like 5-7 years, but because he's already done almost a year almost in jail since getting arrested, right? I guess that's time and a half. So that would be a couple of years, and he may get probation after getting a couple of more years in prison. I just don't see him getting the 10 to 20 years or even the 30 years like what R. Kelly got. I just don't sense it right now, unless there's going to be some type of bomb or some type of mistrial, and then they have to do another trial over, and then the prosecution happens to get even more witnesses. I mean, this morning on one of the YouTubers' channels, someone read the supposedly Kim Porter book. It sounds so real. People are saying, oh no, she didn't write that, she didn't write that, but it just sounds so real to me. So I am like, when hearing that was more interesting and more explosive than this court case has been. This whole entire trial just seems like, oh my gosh, some of the fake news is more interesting than the trial itself. But I do want to say that this Christina Coram, I don't know what's going to happen with her, the manager of Diddy. Her name has been brought up a lot. Will she be charged separately? I don't know. She's standing strong, and she is standing guard, and her name is brought up quite a lot. But she wasn't in these intimate affairs. She wasn't setting up the rooms. She wasn't getting people from state lines. So was she really in the dark? It's interesting. Let's see what happens. But I mean, the defense might bring her in as one of their witnesses if she really didn't know what's going on. And it could be that Diddy did respect her so much that he didn't tell her about that part of his world. But regardless, you know, she knew something. You know, maybe it just can't be proven, but she knew something. She knew about the pills getting transported, you know, she knew about that. But at the end of the day, there's nothing that anyone can say right now except continue to speak their truth and continue to watch the case as the days unfold. Tell me in the comments below what you think. What has been explosive to you that has made you feel like, oh yeah, he's going down no matter what? I mean, again, before the trial, I couldn't stand him for so many years at all. I mean, he's a businessman, and so I respect that to a certain degree. But now during the trial, I'm seeing that he actually did, outside of the bedroom, he actually did treat these women with love and respect. For some reason, they don't hate him. For some reason, they still love him. They still feel like he was a sweetheart. And he seemed to be through these text messages, you know? All right, everyone. As Diddy would say, stay in the light. I love you. Huge hugs. Please be good to yourself out there. And if you're going through a situation very similar to this, make sure you get help. There is help out there. Find it. I'm a soul coach, and that means I'm like a life coach, but for the soul. And I always talk to women about relationships. Many women get caught up in relationships where they feel like the man will always change, like he will get better at some time. But most times, that woman is just in love with his potential. Don't fall in love with someone's potential. Fall in love with someone's reality, who they are right now, and how they treat you. Thank you so much. I'm Sister Cerise. Please take a moment to subscribe, and don't forget to hit that like button. When you subscribe, it's helping my channel grow for free. And not only that, the like button lets YouTube know through the algorithms that you enjoyed this video. Huge hugs, loads of love, and big blessings. Take care of yourself.